Good morning. I got a question from one of my readers that describes a situation that I think is pretty typical for good daughters to get into. Now, I can't give therapeutic advice over the internet, and there are lots of things I don't know about her situation, but let me read her question. So she says her husband, and her 11-year-old son are living with her parents, her elderly parents, so they can stay in the home. The problem is this. She says, I find myself having a hard time asking permission to go out because we're in our 30s. Well, there's something wrong with that sentence. Why in the world is she asking permission to go out? She's an adult. She says, I feel guilty when I go out on Saturday night and have a few too many to drink and have a hangover, because when I do finally get to let go, it's like I go overboard because I have all this built up animosity, anger, and resentment. So here we have, I would say, a good daughter acting badly. Now, she later on wonders if she has a drinking problem. So it's not my passing judgment on her. But what can happen when you feel a buildup of anger and resentment, then you act out of that in ways that may be self-destructive to you. Now, I don't know if this is her situation, but the problem is the more she acts out in ways that she doesn't feel good about, the more her mother overreaches, establishes herself as the authority, and it sounds like she's already telling her son, the woman's son, what to do. So you can really get into a destructive downward spiral when you don't have these discussions and separate in a healthy way. That sounds so pie in the sky, and life just happens, and we get in whatever situation we get into. But it's a real downward spiral if she's acting out in ways that are self-destructive to her, and then she has to deal with the judgment of her mother when is going to make her more resentful and more angry and more likely to act out. So that's one part of it. She says, I have my child thinking going anywhere except church or the grocery store is not necessary, so I fight with her to get out of the house. I'm very frustrated and weary. So in that, I hear the grandmother is already trying to weigh in and have an authority over the child, when the mother and the father should have authority over their own child. Sometimes I wonder if I have a drinking problem, because it's how I cope to get away from her. Don't get me wrong, I have a great job making money and they love me. It doesn't interfere with my work. Well, it might not now, but I hear you're wondering if you have a drinking problem. So it's probably beyond time to take a real hard look at what self-care looks like. Take accountability for your actions, and don't let this dynamic with your mother drag you into a downward spiral where she gets more authority, more overreach, and you feel worse and worse about yourself, to where it does weigh in and affect your health or put your job in jeopardy. Also, overall, I have to say, just because the parents want to stay in the home, okay, I hear that, and I don't know your situation, but does that mean that becomes your problem to help them solve? Now, there might be all kinds of things that could be in-between solutions, like taking turns with your other siblings and watching over your parents, living separately, having someone come in the home. I think if you just expect yourself to step in with whatever your parents want, then that's a problem, without any discussion about your needs, where you are in your life cycle, your development. Sounds like you have a young son, a thriving career, a husband. Aren't those things worth protecting, looking after? weighing alongside of your parents' desire to stay in the home. So just some questions and observations. Again, can't give therapeutic advice over the internet like this, but I can probe and ask you some things that hopefully will help you expand in your awareness so you'll be able to sort this through yourself. Good luck and bye.